Hey, welcome back to A Faster Me. This is going to be CBR number 4, and this is the women's P123 race. Great race. It's a pretty stacked field. Got some unfamiliar faces that showed up. I think a lot of people are in town for the Redlands Classic. Excuse me. I think a lot of people are in town for the Redlands Classic. And if not, it doesn't really matter what people are here for. There's a lot of new faces here. Butcher Box had a squad of about 4 out. Two of the Fount riders came out. And, we have some of our normal teams, Altavelo, Faster Me, a couple in Cycle Mommies, Blazers, LABA. Just a good field, a good stacked field here. So, yeah, they're on the Carson side going counterclockwise. This is pretty much the only downhill part of the course here, and this is the fastest turn. This is turn 2. And then everything else is these little risers like this, a little kicker, and some kind of false flat all the way around. So about 3/4 of the course is kind of like a false flat, and then a little bit of little more than a fourth of the course is slightly downhill to about 4% downhill at the steepest point. So anyway, you can see just right off the bat, the speed's up pretty high. There's a lot of attacks. We have, I want to say we have 6 riders in this race. Got Anastasia, Marlena on the camera, Morgan James, Elisa Luau. We got Carolina is our newest rider, and we have Felicia in this field. So we have a pretty good group. It's good to have, Butcher Box had 4 women in the race. So it was good to see just another team with some decent numbers. I think Altavelo has 3. I'm pretty sure we have the most in this race, probably by a little bit, by 2 riders. Everyone else has kind of 1s and 2s in the race. It's not really about that anyway, of course. It's not the number of riders you have. It's just depending on what your strategy is and how well you're able to execute. A lot of these riders are very good, very experienced, very explosive riders. Shout out to Kat right there too. She's in her maybe her 3rd race or so with the P123s. And she's been doing really well with the white jersey there from Ironfly. I think she even has 1 podium already. So only about 3 or 4 pro races, and I think every race she's been in the top 10, maybe even the top 8. So great job by her. She's really good finishing at the end of the race. So I think that's Reagan there from iSpeed. We got a couple iSpeed riders in the race too. You saw Camilla go up the left side there. And, Marlena's been kind of our workhorse this year. We have all the girls that are, that contribute each race. But I think Marlena's been kind of the glue. She just covers a lot of moves throughout the race, and especially late in the race, she kind of covers or ends up initiating the lead out. So it's not like a permanent role or anything, but it's just something she's good at and obviously willing to do. And some of our other riders have different roles, so we don't want them, doing that or whatever. So you can see already there's people struggling to hang on. The pace is hot. They're up to 28 miles per hour. And, it started off pretty cold in the day with some rain this morning, but it's already 70 degrees. There's a little crosswind. And right here, the field almost got split. You can't really tell up there, but there's people off the front. There's a small group off the front. I don't know the exact number, but I think we had close to 30 riders in this race. So there's a small group off the front, and then it kind of got split. Almost had a split field, and that would have been pretty hard, especially for us because we were on the back half of that split. I think I had 4 girls or something at the time, maybe even 5 on the second half of that split. So this was definitely a wake-up call. You can see Marlena's back here too, having to put in way more watts than we'd like, just to try to hang on and get back up to the front or into a better position. So on this side here, you got a crosswind coming off the right, and it's pretty stiff. Later in the day, it's pretty stiff. So as you turn here up this little false flat, a little bit of a tailwind here, and then another crosswind once we turn left at the start finish line, and then pretty much a straight headwind after you turn from turn 1. But at the same time, it's also the fastest portion of the course over there, so that headwind's not as significant unless you're trying to go off solo or so. We should be able to see a flag on one of these buildings coming up, and that'll give you a little bit of indication of the wind. Not down low here, up top on one of the buildings. Maybe after the left-hand turn here. Or maybe it's just not in view of the camera. Yeah, so this section here should be a little bit of a headwind here. Actually, it should be a pretty decent headwind here, and then turning at the corner there to a crosswind. So there's the young ladies from Altavelo there. They've been doing a really good job, really good teamwork. Tyler's been doing a good job sprinting and trying to, close out some races. She got the win over at Rosina Ranch in a sprint with Elisa. Elisa got second. Colleen Gullick right here to our right. Colleen's been doing this for years, and everybody knows she's an excellent closer. She's very good at conserving energy and then, using it when it's time. So we got someone off the front here. I think it might be one of the fountain riders that's off the front now. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw someone turn that corner up there, but maybe I'm wrong. That's Elisa in front of Marlena here, kind of made her way up. I may have missed Morgan because she's in the leader's jersey. She's in the yellow leader's kit. And that's something we're pretty proud of this year. I mean, we have 3 leaders jerseys, so pretty much every series that we're contesting, we have the leader jersey in it. So that's something we'd like to hold on to and hopefully close the season out with 3 jerseys at the end of the series. So yeah, it's still pretty spicy here at the front. I wish I had more camera angles so I can show, just give a better indication of how the race really went. But you'll see Marlena goes right here and puts in a dig. I do believe there is a rider off the front there. She's just about to make the left-hand turn now. So, I have to give Marlena some credit here. This next lap and a half, she's gonna really bury herself and just cover everything at this point. She's done it before, and like I said, it's not a overpraise in my opinion. The other girls on our team have different roles. So they, and not only that, they contribute and share the workload as well. But I just want to give Marlena some credit here, especially because she sacrifices pretty much every finish this year so far. She hasn't even tried to get a good finish for her races. So yeah, I just want to give her kudos where it's due. So she's going to put in some really hard efforts here to try to run down that breakaway rider and cover any moves that counters off of it. So if you see another thing I want to point out, and I think just did an excellent job on the day, if you see the fountain rider sitting there, second, third wheel, their team is going to be really active, covering moves like they're supposed to, trying to shut down the chase groups as someone gets off. I don't know if it was the same person each time covering and the same person trying to break away or not, but the person that's covering, kind of running interference, did a great job throughout the day, in my opinion. They're pretty aggressive, making sure they got to second wheel or third wheel, wherever they were trying to position themselves. And I don't think they were ever far back, throughout the race. But you see, here's another excellent job by Marlena, just jumping on this as soon as it moved. A lot of times people are a little slow reacting when there's a attack, and they wait till the person gets 10, 15 yards in front of them and then try to chase it down. But great acceleration there, just getting on her wheel immediately. And again, they're still trying to chase the fountain rider that's off the front here. It's a great job by Butcher Box here too, putting in a great effort. You see the other fountain rider counters right there, and that's a great point as well. If you notice, she didn't wait till her teammate was caught to counter. She countered while her, just before her teammate was getting caught, get a little sneak attack and get the momentum up. So as you see, Colleen Gullett covered that like immediately and went with her. And that's dangerous. That's really dangerous here. If Colleen and this Fountain Rider gets off the front, that's a really hard duel to bring back. So Marlena does a great job again, like I said, just covering this move. And I can tell here she's hurting. I'm walking up on the left side over there. You'll see me in just a second. And I tell her, just stay on it. You're going to catch it. Just stay on it. I can tell she was dying here. So, yeah, good job here, just kind of shutting it down, trying to latch onto it. As you can see, Colleen's kind of countering and just making it a little spicy here. She looks back and notices that they're caught, so she kind of sits up a little. I thought it might be good if they had a little gap for a second, but I believe the Peloton's right on their wheel right now. But yeah, those are some pretty hard efforts right there. I know it doesn't seem like much. Maybe it wasn't that exciting, but that little lap and a half, I think Marlena did a great job of covering all those moves there. I think Elisa's pretty close behind her. But just, like I said, these are some hard efforts here. And that was Camilla there that went to the front for a second. I don't know if she was really trying to counter or not, but she definitely, took advantage of the pace being really slow. So there goes another Fountain Rider just stretching it out. Obviously you don't want it to get really slow. A lot can happen when it's slow. It gets a little more dangerous when we're bunched up as well. So you keep the pace a little high. Obviously you're going to wear down people. After that little attack there, and I shouldn't say little attack, but after those series of attacks, the field was pretty shattered for a minute. There's probably at least 6 riders off the back already, and yeah, that pretty much shattered the field. And as you can see, you haven't really seen too many other riders in view, so it's pretty stretched out. And there goes a counter by one of the Butcher Box ladies, followed by the Blazers, and again, Fountain Rider right there, second, third wheel every time. So there's Elisa moving up to the front, and Marlena kind of fading back with Felicia coming up the inside there. Again, Morgan might be up there as well, but I just kind of miss her because she's not in the team kit. So yeah, there's been a lot of action already in just the first 12 minutes of this race. Each lap is maybe a minute 40 or so, maybe a minute 50. I don't know the exact times they were running, but I know some of the fastest times on the day was like in the 130s, 120 something was the fastest time of the day, if my memory serves me correctly. So yeah, we do have some bar points and preems in this race. We're interested in the bar points, or MAR, whatever it's called. We're interested not in the most aggressive rider points, but in the overall, I forgot what they call it, the best rider or whatever they call it. But we're interested in keeping the yellow jersey. So I know Morgan's going to end up getting both of those 2 preems. One she had to do a little sprint for, not too much energy. And then the second one, I think no one contested at all, so she was able to just cruise across the line and get those points. Ooh, little dive bomb on the teammate there. Definitely never want to take out your own teammate. And I'm not saying it was dangerous, but I would say it's ill-advised. It was a little dive bomb, but everybody made it through cleanly. And I guess if you're going to dive bomb, it's better to do it on your teammate so you don't make anyone else mad there. So there's Carolina right there in front of us. This is her first race with us and her first time out here at CBR. And then Morgan goes up to just in front of her with the yellow, the orangish yellow jersey there. And there's Anastasia to the left. Got India right here in the LABA kit. And Felicia with Roz on the left in Altavelo. Roz is really strong also. She's been doing a lot of work for Altavelo in these last couple of races. I'm sorry, these first couple races of the season. I kind of keep an eye on everybody. I'm always trying to learn who's who and kind of how they ride and what they do just to help the team out a little bit and just to keep tabs on people. There's Shawnee there on the right with Jules on the left here. Yeah, you can see it's a big field. It's stretched out pretty far. I don't recall the official number, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's over 30 riders, and that'll probably be our, other than like Valley of the Sun, that's probably our largest field of the year, I believe. I think the Major Motion P123 women's crit had a decent number as well, probably close to 30 also. So yeah, when the race is like this and people make it so fast, it's pretty good. But it can throw off your plans. Everybody comes into the race with a thought of a strategy, kind of at the very least a little napkin plan of what they want to do in the race. But that can get blown up really quick when you keep the race just really high speed, constant counterattacks, and it's constant attacks and counters. That can definitely disrupt other people's game plans. But I loved this race when I was there watching it. I loved the race. I thought it was a very hard, very explosive race, and I think it was definitely good training for our team and everybody in the race. There's Jazz also right there in the black. She's been having a good year also. I don't know if she's the official sprinter for the Mommies now, but she's kind of been playing that role through these first few weeks. And, she's been in like the top 4 or 5 pretty much every race. I think Linda Cruz is back also with Butcher Box. I know she's in the race. I don't recall which kit she is, but she raced for LABA a couple years ago. Then I think she made a little trip to Europe, and now is with Butcher Box. So it's good to see her at a CBR again. So as you can see, the Peloton's almost in danger of splitting again up there. A little group off the front. I shouldn't say it's in danger of splitting, but yeah, it doesn't take much, especially as hard as the race has been to this point. It doesn't take much for someone to drop a wheel and, a group of 4 or 5 get off the front. And if that group of 4 or 5 decides to work together, again, it's pretty hard to bring back. There's some very strong women in this race, especially playing up there at the front. See a little drifting there, and I think that's just everyone's lack of comfort with that high-speed turn there. So you'll see like the line drifting wide, and that's really just an indication of like a little of a lack of commitment in the line that you want to take. It makes you feel like you're at a steeper lean angle than you are, but it's fine. The lean angles are not bad. You're not going to like slide out or anything. But I think sometimes that's a feel it gives people. So they kind of lack the commitment, turn in slow, and they just start to drift wide. So yeah, I don't have the stats for this race. I guess I do have them, but I didn't look at them, so I don't know what the speed was for this race. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's, pretty fast, at least possibly even 24 plus miles per hour. I don't really know what it was. I think on average, the women average around 23, 24 miles per hour. So yeah, this is about as slow as it's been right here. You can see they're 4 or 5 wide, almost under 20 miles per hour. And that, of course, means that someone's about to attack. Don't know who, but yeah, anytime it gets slow like this, someone's going to attack. And so I think Marlena takes the time to head up to the front again, and you can see someone attacked off the front there. They got about a good 30-meter lead up front. I see Lisa's trying to chase it, jump onto Fount's wheel there. And yeah, this is about as far back as I've seen Fount so far. And they're not far. It's just like 4th and 8th wheel, So like I said, they did a great job of just monitoring the front, kind of having an impact on the race and controlling the Peloton. And they did it with just 2 riders. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily take a lot of riders, but it does take a lot of experience and skill and commitment to just, really stick to your plan and commit to it. So here's Marlena here with an attack. She gets some good separation here, and if I'm not mistaken, no one reacted to it. So, no one reacted, so it's like, yeah, go ahead, keep going, and, see how long you can hang out there or whatever. It's a really long time to try to make it to the end. I think there's still like 27 minutes in the race. So that's a very long time with this type of field to go solo off the front. Yeah, and it probably wasn't her intention just to go solo, but yeah, we want to attack as well. We don't want it slowing down like that to 20 miles per hour. So there's a really good turn right here by Marlena. Kept a good speed. I lecture about cornering a lot, so yeah, my girls hopefully will corner well when they're on video. So I don't know if there's anybody with her, but I don't think so right now. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody with her. So she's just putting in a good little effort here, and see where it takes her. We have other teammates though, so it wasn't our plan to get her off in a break or anything. So there's not anybody really up there running interference. But I believe she ended up having about a 10-second lead right here. So I'm on the right side here, and I'm going to just tell her, just go hard one lap. Not really hard, but just go out there, stay out there for one more lap, see if anybody chases. And yeah, so one of the girls, or one of the Peloton does end up chasing. I think it's one of the Butcher Box ladies that ends up chasing, trying to bring her back. Again, it wasn't really our intention to have her on this break, but hey, sometimes it works out that way. It's just a really long time. With 27 minutes, it's pretty far to hold that. Yeah, this section is pretty hard by yourself with the little crosswind and then the kicker. You get a little recovery on the downhill, but yeah, just having this section by yourself with the wind coming off the right, got to put in a little decent effort here. So I think right about here or so, or maybe after she turns turn 3, I think Butcher Box catches her. And I could be wrong. I'm trying to go off of memory a little bit. I think most of you guys know by now I don't really prep for these videos. I just watch them live and, go off of memory and then watch them live. So yeah, maybe it was Butcher Box or maybe it was the Blazer. I can't remember who did it at the time, but somebody put in some decent efforts and kind of ran it down. And there's Fountain again on the counterattack. You can see her going off the right side there. And I think it's a perfect counter. We got to stay motivated. You know, if you don't want the breakaway to stick and you're sitting up there, you got to stay motivated. Somebody has to be willing to get on that immediately. But you know it's coming. Marlena was off the front for 2 laps. You know, everybody eventually chased it. Once you catch, you know the counterattack's coming. So someone should be ready for that. And I'm saying including, you know, our ladies as well. Anytime that break gets caught, one of us has to realize someone's going to counter and be ready to kind of cover that move. So yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier in one of the earlier videos, but I think racing has definitely been elevated this year. I think all the races, all the categories, especially, you know, the 4-5 women and the P123 races, I think they've been pretty spicy, pretty high level. You know, it's great to see a little bit more team tactics, not just a bunch of individuals out there trying to get the highest, you know, placing they can get. Seen a lot more team tactics this year and people willing to sacrifice for, you know, a teammate. And the races have been really fun to watch this year, really competitive. And if I'm not mistaken, we've had multiple winners. It hasn't been just the same winner, you know, every race. I don't know the young lady from Orion's name, but this is her second race. She raced the 50 plus, I believe, earlier in the day. Or the Masters race. I'm not saying she's 50 plus. It was just the 50 plus race. Yeah, so by now, let me see. It looks like we have probably about 10 laps to go. And by now, there's a lot of girls off the back already. I shouldn't say a lot, but yeah, I guess it is a lot. It's a decent portion of the field was off the back just due to the speed and explosiveness of the race. Again, it's kind of slow right now. So yeah, if Fountain's off the front still, then of course it's you know, a good job by them of slowing down the pace and getting their rider a pretty good gap. There's Emmy in there from iSpeed as well in the middle there with the pink kits. I think that's Evelyn over to the left there. And I think that's Sarah Blasik there from Sirius Cycling also. Just trying to shout everybody out. spread the love. So yeah, hopefully Marlena goes back up to the front and you know, we get to see the work that the riders from Fount are doing, just controlling the peloton. Like I said, I think she did an excellent job. I don't know her name, sorry. I don't have the roster in front of me, but I think the Fount rider that was running interference and covering moves did an excellent job of just controlling the peloton and making it a little bit easier for her teammate to control the gap, on the breakaway. And that's really the key to having successful breakaways. There's a lot of women that are strong enough to actually break away or to possibly even stay away, but it's not that easy to do, without help. If you just go off the front and the Peloton's able to chase you freely, usually they're going to catch you. Obviously, it's more people punching a bigger hole in the wind also. But when you have someone that can just slow down the group, control the group a little bit, discourage the chase a little, that's where the success comes in on breakaways. It's hardly ever done, by yourself. People may think they broke away by themselves, but typically it's your teammates helping. So it's definitely stretched out again now, and there is a chase going. Definitely the motivation went up a little bit. And this is exactly what helps the breakaway get away. When you see that surge and then it slows down, and then another surge, then it slows down. That's the disruption you need to help the breakaway get away. Because it doesn't take much. Even you can have a 10, 20-second lap. It only takes 1 or 2 laps of the Peloton being able to roll with free speed to catch a breakaway rider. So you definitely want to disrupt it as much as possible. So Elisa was at the front doing some work with Morgan and Anastasia. I remember Anastasia specifically covering like 2 other breakaway attempts while Marlena was taking time to recover. But if you can see, there's Fount again, second wheel, making sure that she's covering any breaks. Any attempts to pull back her teammate. So Marlena attacks here again. So I'm yelling the time gap over there. That was me against the pole. I'm yelling the time gap to the breakaway. And I think we were at about 18 seconds at this point. Yeah, and this is the whole point right here. Like, this is why we need multiple people, because you got to get the speed up, and you should have a little bit quicker rotation if you have help behind you. But young lady from Fountain is sitting right there, second, third wheel. So there's no rotation going to come through here. So you end up having someone on the front having to pull longer, and typically they kind of burn themselves out. And again, that slows down the chase. So as you saw, Marlena went about half a lap, maybe 3/4 of a lap with decent speed. And now we're down to 21, 22 miles per hour again. So Altavelo takes over here. And there's a green jersey. This is just something you have to commit to. And, at some point, I know people are, I know Ronnie was even announcing, Ronnie Toth was announcing, and I know he was saying, a faster me should dedicate their riders to running down the break, or maybe butcher box. And in general, that is kind of true if you want to win the race. If you want to win the race and bring back that break, yes, you would have to sacrifice, some riders to bring it back. And that's easier said than done, no matter if you have numbers or not. It's not easy, and everybody doesn't have the same ability either. So it's not the same physiology that people can just get on the front and hammer it and, hold 300 watts or whatever for, a few pulls or a few minutes or whatever else it is and just keep rotating through. It's not really that realistic that everybody has the same physical ability. Now, what you can do is try to make a pack, get with Butcher Box or something, and we dedicate 2 riders, they dedicate 2 riders, you know. But the main thing is you have to deal with the Fount rider right here. As you can see, she's trying to get second wheel again, just trying to disrupt it. So Butcher Box comes up and they try to, participate in running it back as well. But as you can see, Fount is right there. So you got to get Fount out of the way, or you end up having to rotate from third. So once your rider starts to fade a little bit, the third place rider has to go around both riders. But that takes a little bit of energy also. So it still affects the efficiency of the attempt to run it down. And it does get very discouraging for the people that's on the front trying to pull when, they want to flick an elbow for somebody to come through and it's that green jersey just sitting there staring at them. I mean, this is how we won the first race, the first CBR of the season. Same thing. Every time someone attacked, Marlena was just right there on her wheel. Elisa was breaking away with a small group, and slowly but surely, she kind of rode away from that small group. And it's the same thing. It's frustrating. And there's Elisa there trying to contribute as well. And right there, Fount's right on her wheel. And I'm sure everybody knows that's the case by now. Morgan goes up to help as well. But it is tricky. It's just good tactics, and you have to be prepared to counter those tactics. And there's multiple ways to counter that tactic. I'm not going to actually say them though, but there are a couple ways that are pretty effective. They're hard, and it still takes commitment. But these are pro level riders, so I will share that for my team only. And I'm sure a lot of them know those tactics already, or if not, their coaches do or whatever. So. But yeah, I was really, I've said it already, but I was really impressed by the Fount rider that's holding second place. Obviously, the one that won or wins the race, obviously she was basically putting in a hard TT effort, and everybody recognizes how hard that is. But I just don't think people recognize enough how important the rider is that's running down all these breaks and covering all these moves and just controlling the Peloton single-handedly. I don't know if people understand how hard that is to do and how fit you have to be to do that. And if I'm not mistaken, she still comes in, like 5th place or so. So I think right now there's about 5 laps to go and maybe a little bit more, 5 or 6 laps to go. I never can see the lap counter over there. But I think it's about 5 or 6 laps to go now. And I don't know if it's here or a little bit later. I think it's still at about 25-second gap right now. Maybe 25. And actually, I think Jazz was riding solo today. I don't think there were any other mommies in it because I think Feline was not here this week. And Feline is in the green jersey, or was in the green jersey. She may have lost it because she wasn't in this race, but, before the race or at the start of the race, she held the most aggressive rider jersey. And I think Jazz has been racking up the podiums. So again, you see that green jersey is sitting second wheel every single time. no less than third wheel. Every time she's on camera, she's second or third wheel. And this is kind of a point where, yes, the other teams are contributing. Like, everybody's contributing a little bit now. But I think at this point, someone does have to sacrifice their finish and be like, yeah, I'm not finishing the race. I'm going to just dedicate to bringing this breakaway back. A couple riders actually need to do that from each team and just say, I'm not finishing the race. I don't need to finish. I don't need a high position. I need to just bring this break back. And that's really the only way this break's going to come back at this point. But that is something that's hard, something you got to do on the fly. And it's hard to get buy-in from other riders or other teams, especially a lot of times they just don't trust you. You know, they don't trust that you're going to, or that it benefits them. You know, sometimes they won't trust that it benefits them. And like I said, often people look at just who has the most numbers and think it's all their responsibility, but, you know, it's not exactly. Not to mention in the race, not everyone knows, you know, as much as they should about tactics and how to counter some of the tactics. So yeah, we're definitely coming into about 4 laps to go. I think after this, there's going to be maybe 4 laps to go, 3 or 4 laps to go. Yeah, this should be 3 laps to go, coming into 3. And I believe now the Fount rider out front, I believe she's up to like 40-second lead or something now. She's almost half a lap in front of them. She's probably getting closer to the Peloton than they are to her. So I know at this point, I definitely didn't want really, you know, my girls chasing at this point. It's a lost cause. You're not going to make up 40, 50 seconds in 3 laps. So 100% is going to be a bunch sprint now out of this group unless we let someone else get off the front. So yeah, we should be coming into 2 laps to go, I believe. Yeah, there was a couple incidents in this race too, but you know, no one went down, and that's great. Always like to see, you know, everyone finish, you know, with the rubber side down. But I believe there's a pretty good pedal strike in this corner. And then I think there was a little touch of wheels on the straightaway at one point. But again, nobody went down. Everybody was safe for the day, as far as I remember. So yeah, we should be going in. I mean, this should be 2 laps to go right here. And like I said earlier, like I think Kat right here is a pretty good finisher, really good instincts. She's been quiet all race, you know, just kind of saving some energy and Now you can see she's moved up a little closer to the pointy end and trying to get in good position for a strong finish. Can't tell if that's Altovello on the front right here, kind of starting a little bit of a lead out. Yes, Altovello's on the front, took control of the Peloton for that last lap. And I think Altovello does a good job too of just kind of setting up this lead out and getting in position and taking over where they want to, kind of take control of the group. And as you can see, Fountain's still there. The race is over, not over, but she's done her job already. But she's still committed and still there, second wheel almost every lap. And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I think she deserves her flowers. It was really impressive. You see Morgan's in really good position as well. So we're not really able to line up, and we had Altovello doing the lead out already. So Marlena comes up here and takes over and just tries to stretch out the field a little bit. You see Butcherbox was kind of fighting her for the position a little bit, but yeah, it's good. Either way, if they're stretching it out or if we're stretching it out, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, this is the last lap here. Got a couple corners to go. Got the speed decent, pretty high. Just kind of roll it through there. You can see Marlena's fading here. I think Butcherbox takes over to the right. Yep, the young lady for Butcherbox, but once again, Fountain's right on her wheel with the Butcherbox third. And I think Morgan's kind of right there at about fifth position. I think Elisa gets a little boxed in right there. You see like some people slid in front of her there. Yeah, so that's about it. We're a little too far back to see, but yeah, Fountain won with the breakaway. Again, great job to the young lady running interference. And I think Butcherbox takes the bunch sprint with Colleen coming third and Morgan fourth. Colleen and Morgan were like neck and neck with the bike throw there. And I want to say the young lady from Fountain may have came in fifth or sixth. I can't remember. Maybe mixed in there with Tyler Mize from Altovello. So thanks for watching. And yeah, it was very exciting. I love the competition and just seeing the new faces and having multiple teams in the race, especially with all the experience.